I've been wanting to do this for a long time and I never have the time, so I'm sitting in my car and doing it. Um, my name is William Grimes. I'm 38 years old. I have a wife and 2 kids and a grandchild. Um, been seeing a lot of stuff going on in the world and in the news, and I mean, some friends discussing stuff, and frequently people I try to discuss things with get so irate and they just get angry and cut me off and won't ever listen to a full explanation of why I think and see things the way I do. Granted, I know I don't exactly have time to do that now, or this is going to be a very long video. I am kind of long-winded as it is, so I will try to make this fairly concise, and if it gets watched, awesome. If not, yeah, it happens. But in saying that, I am a conservative individual. I haven't really decided exactly how I would classify myself. I probably lean more libertarian. I believe the government should get out of everything. I mean, really the only job of the government should be, military and I mean, really, there's not much else because Ben Shapiro says it right. The government does everything badly. I mean, if you think that the best option is for the government to step in and take over, you haven't experienced much. I mean, the government does everything horribly bad. I mean, you look at some of the, I guess you would say, conspiracies or whatever. The government thought it was a good idea to force food companies to remove fat from their food, but then no one would eat it. And then eventually the companies decided, that there was a way to make things taste better, which was sugar. So they started taking away fat but adding sugar to make it taste like something that people would eat. The problem is your body is naturally, through evolution and everything else, naturally built to burn fat as energy. That's why your body stores any excess energy as fat. The problem is when you start loading up with sugars, then your body starts getting accustomed to burning sugars instead of fat, so you will store the fat, but you will never burn it. And so the government's uneducated attempt to make people thinner has actually made people fatter. That's just one small example of how the government does things badly. Not to mention everything they've tried to do to make one group better hurts another group. And frequently hurts the group they were trying to help. But switching back to topics that that I originally started this for in the first place are some of the biggest topics right now. I should start by telling my beliefs and why I believe the way I believe. One, I am Christian. Wholeheartedly, deep down, my faith is Christian based. Now, do I believe that every aspect of Christian ideology is correct? No, because it is a man or human devised system of doing things and beliefs. Do I think it was based in deity of some sort? Yes. Do I believe that it is perfect? No, not by any means. But I do believe that certain things that were put in the Bible are a good way of living if people only live that way. One of the biggest things that it says in there is that my job is not to judge my neighbor. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm not supposed to hate my neighbor because of what they do or how they do things or the way they believe. My job is to love my neighbor in spite of the things that they do, think, and feel that are against what I do. The reason why is because every single individual on the planet believes something a little differently than everyone else. Every single person. Now, you might find 10,000 people that believe one little thing that you believe the way you believe it, but there's something else that you believe that's different than every single one of those people. So if you hate everybody who thinks differently than you, then you love nobody. Now, I get that there's people that think, well, because they're more along the lines of the way I believe, that's why these are the people I love and associate with. And associating with them is not the same. Because, like, for instance, someone who chooses to do drugs and sell drugs and things like that, you know what? You do you, boo-boo. I don't care what you do. But I am not going to hang out with you and associate with you. Not because I think you're a bad person or anything for doing what you do, when in some cases I might. But I'm still going to love you and care about your well-being and so on and so forth. But I'm not going to hang out with you because, one, I don't want to go to jail due to association. I don't believe drugs are a good idea. I don't want to be influenced into it. And, yeah, there's lots of reasons that I would choose not to hang out with someone who does certain things that I don't agree with. Now, there's other things that I don't view the same as other people per se, but it doesn't mean I won't associate with them or won't be around them or anything like that, such as, LGBT community. Okay, whatever. You know, what you're doing is not going to influence me into doing something that I don't agree with. There are certain topics such as that I won't normally discuss because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You know, I believe that the best way to treat people is with respect, dignity, and a little bit of courtesy. You know, there's no reason to treat someone with disrespect who has not disrespected you first. And me saying that I personally don't believe that homosexuality is, or that I believe it's sinful. I mean, I'm not saying it to disrespect you. I'm saying it because it's my personal belief. That doesn't mean you can't live your life the way you choose to live it. The way you live your life is not my concern. You know, if we discuss it, I'll happily tell you the truth of the way I believe. If it hurts your feelings, that's not my intent, and it's probably why I've never brought it up in the first place. But I do believe that it is sinful, and I don't understand, because I've not been in the situation where I feel the way I do that goes against, things, the ways I've been brought up, the ways I've been taught, and this and the other. So I don't know what that's like. And that is an even bigger reason why I'm not going to judge you for being that way. I personally believe it's wrong, so I'm not going to, and it doesn't feel right to me. But why should I push my agenda on you because it doesn't feel right to me? I just need to live my life the way I need to live my life, and let others live the life the way they feel they need to live it. It's not my concern. You're not hurting me, so I see no reason to hurt you. Now, as far as politically and everything else, the government needs to get the hell out of it. It's none of their business. It's none of my business. What you do in your own life and in your own, life, entirely, is your business and yours alone. It doesn't affect me, so, you're not impeding on me in any way, shape, or form, so why should it bother me? That's the way I feel about that. I'm going to love somebody who disagrees with me, because everybody in some way or shape or form disagrees with me, and I try to love everybody the same. Regardless, I try to care about people in general. You're still human. You've got plenty in common with me. You've got more in common with me than not. So we're good. You do what you got to do, and that doesn't mean I can't be friends with you. That doesn't mean I can't hang out with you. It's just that particular topic. Yeah, if it's brought up, I'll tell you the truth. If it's not, then it's not. It's doesn't have to control a relationship between me and someone who chooses to be, well, not chooses, but whatever, who is homosexual or LGBT in one way, shape, or form. Now, politically, the way other aspects of the LGBT do affect me is when people try to get the government to come in and change the laws to support the LGBT, when it takes away the rights of the vast majority of the country. If I want to be an idiot and walk up to somebody and say, I think you're a little puppy, does that make me right? No. But do I have the right to say it? Yeah. Just like if someone wants to come up to me and say, I think you're a bigot. It may not be true, but you have the right to say it. So trying to control people's speech bothers me. As long as it's not inciting violence, you can say whatever the hell you want. If you want to come up and call me every name under the book, you have the right to do that. I may not be happy about it, and I might not stick around and listen to it. But you have the right to do it. Just like if I want to call, my grandson a little girl, because, something happened and he's a baby, so this doesn't even come up. But if he, does something and whines and cries about it, and I call him a little girl for doing it, and it motivates him to do something and change something for the better, I have the right to do it. He doesn't have to like it, but I have the right to do it. If I want to go up to, I don't know, some random Joe Blow on the street and say the most insulting thing that I can think of, it doesn't make it right, but I have the right to. But like I said, I believe you should treat people with respect and dignity and some courtesy. So am I going to consciously just randomly call somebody something that I know is going to piss them off? Not if I can help it. I'm going to try and treat people with as much respect as I can until they disrespect me. For instance, someone who's transitioning from male to female and they still look masculine, don't happen to be wearing anything that really identifies them as female, and I'm dealing with them on a professional level or whatever, and I said, "Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. I'm female. I'm sorry, ma'am. Have a good day." What's wrong with that? I made a mistake. You're not fully transitioned, whatever. I mean, I've called on it, unintentionally, but I've called men, women, and women numerous times. The way their voices sound on the phone, or, I'm not looking up and the voice is a little deeper on a woman, or, gruffer or whatever. I say sir, and they're like, I'm female, I'm a woman. Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm not going to go out of my way to insult somebody just because I have the right to. I believe that everybody should be treated with respect, but at the same time, if someone honestly says something that isn't right for you, and you say, "Hey, I'm sorry," or "I'm a woman, not a man," that is respectable. I can understand you being a little upset and there being a little attitude there, especially if you were born that way and everything else, and it's not confusing because of the LGBT thing, except for you happen to have a slightly deeper voice and someone screws up. I get it, you're irritated, but for you to go get irate and be completely rude because damn good and well you're transitioning and someone calls you by the one that you don't want to be called by, you throwing a little fit and being rude to me, I am going to be rude back. And I am probably going to hurt your feelings and make you cry. If I'm trying to be respectful and you disrespect me when I'm trying to be respectful, I just make a mistake, or worse, I call you by what you are and you're pissed off about it, screw you. Screw you. I will make you cry. I will make you go call your mommy because I hurt your feelings. And I will do it intentionally if you disrespect me for no reason. But like I said, I will not intentionally disrespect somebody and be rude to somebody for no reason. Well, I'm sure it's happened, but I didn't mean to. I don't mean to unless they more or less start it. I was always taught, don't start a fight, but you damn well better finish it. Oh, I'll finish it. Now, changing off of that topic. Well, no, not changing off of that topic. Where I think another portion of the government getting involved is a bad thing is the bathrooms. If someone legitimately is feeling like they're female and this, that, and the other, and they know damn good and well they look male, go to the men's bathroom. Unless it's not a public, real public bathroom. I mean, yes, public bathroom, but not public bathroom. There's a difference between one that's down a hall that no one sees and likely to make a big deal about and all that. It's not used often, whatnot. You can use whatever the hell you want. But in a highly populated area, you looking male, but trying to make people treat you as a female, when you were born male, you're in a situation that most people are not. Unfortunately, the path of least resistance is to use the men's restroom, Go to a stall if you need to. If you feel more comfortable sitting down and whatnot, go to a stall. You saw what you would do in a female bathroom. You know, if you're female, born female, and look female, but are trying to transition to male, use the female bathroom. There are already stalls, so whatever. If you have a way to pee standing up and feel better doing that, do that. But when you're transitioning, you're in a position that the vast majority of the population in any country are not. You're an exception, not the rule. For myself, it's like discussing something with somebody that I'm pretty sure they're not going to agree with. If I can help it, I'm not going to create a scene. I'm not going to cause a scene. If I can help it. All I expect is the same thing, you know, from people. If you know damn good and well what you're going to do is going to create a problem, then do it a different way. Plain and simple. Treat the people around you with respect. Because I guarantee you, if my daughter is in a restroom and some very male-looking individual, you know, unshaven, you know, has a goatee but is wearing a dress and a wig, tries to step into that bathroom while my daughter's in there, you damn well better bet that I'm going to stop you. You know, if you are truly trying to transition and you just happen to be on the masculine side and you're truly trying to live like a woman, you know, you have a 5 o'clock shadow because, you know, you have been unfortunately given very, very masculine traits while feeling female. If you were being truly innocent about this whole thing, you would understand a person not wanting to risk their child being victimized by somebody. You will hold a few minutes and then go in. And I will know damn good and well that you don't mean any harm. My protective instincts and mentality will go into overdrive if you try and fight me on it. Because then it seems like one of two things. You're looking for a shitload of attention and I'll happily give you it, but it won't be good. Or two, you mean to do bad things in a bathroom. You saw my daughter go in there and you want her to be your next victim. I'll be damned if I let that happen. I will happily go to jail to prevent you from hurting my daughter. If you were legitimate, you were unfortunately in a situation that most of the country is not and has not experienced. I haven't, so I don't know how you feel. I just imagine that is how I would react because I try not to hurt and disrespect anybody if I can help it. Now on another note, guns. I grew up in a junior high that didn't allow lockers, didn't allow backpacks. Well, they did allow backpacks if they were clear. Same thing that's going on in Florida right now. We bitched about it. Yeah, we did. But we lived every day, woke up every day, went to school every day, and was able to bitch about it. But it was the rules, and it's the way it was because some idiots decided to bring guns to school to intimidate other people. Now, I will say this. The few times that happened, when the parents find out, they beat the hell out of those children for getting a hold of a gun that they shouldn't have gotten a hold of. Every single one of them was an illegal gun that shouldn't have been on the streets at all. It was not their parents' gun. They got it illegally, which tells me that if a 13-year-old kid back in the 90s, when there was half the guns on the street that there are today, was able to get a hold of a gun illegally, then there's nothing stopping a child from getting a hold of a gun illegally now, or a grown person from getting a gun illegally. If drugs can come into the country that are banned, they are illegal, completely illegal, never a legal way to get a hold of them, and they still get into this country, so can guns. So taking away my rights to try to prevent someone from using a gun poorly pisses me the hell off. Because I know damn good and well, if I'm carrying and someone comes in shooting, I'm shooting back. That will, at the very, very, very least, prevent them from shooting some people while I'm able to shoot at them. And they put themselves in the position to be shot at. So if you think that I'm looking to kill somebody for something stupid, no. It is not my choice to shoot at somebody. I'm not doing it randomly. I would only be doing it to protect those because some crazy person showed up trying to kill somebody. I would rather them die than someone that I love or care about, or even some random innocent person down the street. That's just my mentality, and that's the way I was brought up. Prior military, protective instincts. My dad taught me, well, a lot of people in my life, men in my life, taught me, you protect those who can't protect themselves, period. You know, a lot of the movies I was growing up watching taught me exactly that. So that's the way I think. That if I can protect somebody who cannot protect themselves, I damn sure will. But you take my right to carry a gun legally away, then you increase the damage that someone who gets a gun illegally can do. The more gun-free zones there are, the more people that can be hurt by a crazy person who gets a gun illegally. Can happen. It does happen in places where guns are banned. And the damage is frequently way worse because nobody has the ability to fight back. That's the dumb side of gun laws. Now, speaking of guns coming in illegally, I'm sure someone would come up with the argument of, I bet you're saying they're coming from Mexico. They probably would. Why? Because it's the closest border to me. They'd probably come through Canada too. But yes, Mexico is the closest border to me. That's the one biggest in the news right now. Do I have a problem with immigrants? Absolutely not. My family was immigrants. Every single one of them. You know, I mean, I do have some native blood in me, but every living person in my family today, including the people with native blood, have immigrant blood too. Not a single native individual I have ever heard of living today does not have immigrant blood in them. They may have native blood too and choose to lean towards that side, or it might be majority native, but they have immigrant blood too. Every one of them. I don't think there is a single 100% Native American left in this country. There's just not. So everything that applies to everybody else applies to you too. Now, in saying that, I do believe illegal immigration is a problem. A friend of mine growing up, his parents were from Mexico. He was born here, so he was a legal resident. And did I want them separated? No, I didn't. You know, I still wouldn't want that to happen. But his dad ended up drinking himself to death and shooting himself. And his mom, from day one, was on Social Security. She had an issue that made it difficult for her to work, so she was on Social Security disability really, really early on. My friend didn't even remember when his mom got on Social Security. It wasn't before he was born, but it was not long after. I believe she was 9 months pregnant when they came over. And she wanted to make sure she was here when he was born so that they couldn't be sent back. Happens a lot. But my friend is now 42 years old, and his mom is still living here, still on disability, never worked a day in her life, and has been on disability the entire time, Social Security disability. And I bet the government has given her well over $1 million. And it blew my mind because I met her and started speaking to her while she was living next door to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was on Social Security disability, worked 2 and 3 jobs her entire life. At this point, she ended up with cancer and was put on disability because of the cancer. She was in remission, but because of the surgeries and all, she had a hard time. She couldn't work. But she was also 62 years old. She was just a couple of years away from Social Security retirement anyway. But 62 years old, worked 2 and 3 jobs her entire life since she was like 12 years old, paying into Social Security, paying into taxes and all of this. And finally, at 62 years old, she had to go on disability. She was getting, I want to say it was $583 a month and $10 a month food stamps. This other woman who came over illegally was not a U.S. citizen, even to this day was not a U.S. citizen, never went through the process, but was getting Social Security disability somehow. I still have no idea how. Was getting, I want to say it was $1,200 a month from disability, cash. She was getting $223 a month from food stamps, and she was getting things like bath products, feminine products. By this point, she was 66 years old, something like that. She had incontinence issues, and she was getting that medical stuff paid for and shipped to her house every day by the government, and never once paid anything in taxes. Her son was patriotic and joined the military. Actually, to this day, he's still in the military. He's 42 years old, still in the military. He's probably very, very close to retirement, and did give a lot back because of what the government gave to his mom. But that's one example of many, many others that don't turn out like that. But it still bothered me that she got so much from the government and put nothing in and never even bothered to get her citizenship. If thousands are coming over every month, thousands are coming over, and even half of them get those kinds of benefits, that's the reason